This is super counterintuitive to a lot of people, but some of the highest paying jobs are actually the worst jobs to have if you're trying to reach financial freedom. So, whether you're looking to switch careers, are just curious, or are learning about financial freedom before you've even begun working, in which case, keep up the good work, this video is meant for you. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, I'm the fireman, and I discovered the financial freedom community in high school through the Mr. Money Mustache blog. So, at 17 years old, I set my mind to reaching financial freedom before I turned 30 years old. But that raised a very important question. What's the best way to reach financial freedom? Some would say to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't like this approach. Most new businesses fail, and I didn't want to leave my financial freedom up to a roll of the dice. And until enough of you smash the like button on this video, this YouTube channel isn't going to make me rich either. So I knew that to reach financial freedom by 30 years old, I needed to have a great job. And right now, I work as a data analyst, and I think I'm on track to retire early. But was this the best choice I could have made? Let's see. A quick and easy approach is to just Google which college majors have the highest lifetime earnings. This is a naive approach, but it's a good starting point. And luckily, somebody was kind enough to collect this data. According to this super interesting Washington Post article, chemical engineers have the highest career earnings. And it's not even that close. Looking at the data, it looks like 50% of chemical engineers earn $5 million over the course of their careers. So maybe I should have studied chemistry. My area of study, computer science, didn't even crack the top 10, with career earnings of $4.3 million. Interestingly, finance is also higher than computer science. And this is really interesting to me because I also studied business finance in college. So did I really get a job in the wrong major? Are there really 10 careers that would have paid more than mine? That feels kind of bad. But before we jump to conclusions, let's dig into the data a little more. I followed the sources from the Washington Post article to find this dataset, which allows for a little more detail. For example, I can filter to just career earnings with a bachelor's degree. When I filtered the data on bachelor's degree only, things look a little better for me, but not a lot better. Computer science goes up to the number 7 spot, but still under finance and others. So, going off of career earnings, computer science was not the right area to study. If I wanted to reach financial freedom, I should have been a chemical engineer. All of that said, career earnings isn't what really matters. I mean, the whole idea behind financial independence retire early is to have as short of a career as possible. So who cares about career earnings? I care about earnings between 22 and 30 years old. That's actually a very different question, but that's not a metric that too many people report on. But a useful approximation is to look which jobs have the highest starting salaries, which there's a lot more data on. But before I get into which jobs are the best jobs for early retirement, I did want to tell you about Jobscan, which is a company I partnered with this week. Jobscan is a tool that I actually used to land a six-figure job immediately out of college, which is why I wanted to partner with them. And no matter what your dream job is, Jobscan can help you get it. See, when you apply for a job, there's a very high chance that it's only ever scanned by an applicant tracking system and never read by a real human. So with Jobscan, you just paste in your resume and the job description of the job you're applying to, and it scans it for you and gives you lots of helpful tips on how to tailor your resume so that you stand out more. And standing out is really important. Positions at Google pay tens of thousands more dollars than that same position at another company. But Google only accepts a fraction of applicants. And Jobscan is so confident that you'll like the tool that you can even do a few scans for free before upgrading. And again, I really enjoyed using Jobscan myself, which is why I asked if I could partner with them. So there's a link in the description if you want to land your dream job with Jobscan's help. But anyway, let's talk about which jobs are the best jobs for retiring early. According to this article from CNBC, data analyst, which I am right now, actually does happen to be the highest paying starting salary job. And even better than that, software engineer, UX designer, Java developer, and software developer are all in the top 10 as well, which are all jobs I could have potentially applied for as a computer science major. That's all a bit ironic because I never actually planned on being a data analyst. I've always been more interested in cybersecurity, which isn't even on the list. But luckily, I found a company where I can merge those passions anyway. So, did I choose the best career for reaching financial freedom? It looks like maybe I did. But there's one more thing that so far I've been ignoring. So far, I have only been talking about careers with a bachelor's degree. But what about a master's or a PhD? Those positions naturally earn a lot more money. I likely could have started my career earning $20,000 more dollars had I earned a master's. So being a data analyst might be the best job to have with a bachelor's degree. But did I make a mistake by not getting a more advanced degree? Well, this might depend on a number of factors. But for me personally, getting an advanced degree would have been a huge mistake. That's because while you might earn more with a master's or a PhD, you also earn more just by having more years of experience. One of my friends with a master's degree was actually offered a job at my company, and she was offered $20,000 more dollars than I'm getting paid. But instead of getting a master's, I could also just work those 2 years at my company, and I'll probably be earning about that same amount anyways. And on top of that, I'll have 2 more years of savings. The immense amount of time it takes to complete an advanced degree is actually why some of the highest paying jobs are some of the worst jobs to have for reaching financial freedom. PhD programs, which unlike master's degrees are typically free and often even provide a stipend to the students, still take 4 to 5 years to complete. You might not go into more debt, but you'll be starting your career much later in life. If your goal is to reach financial freedom as fast as possible, that's not ideal. You'd be starting your career at 26 or 27 years old. That's barely sooner than I'm scheduled to reach financial freedom. And some other professions would be even harder. For example, say you want to become a surgeon. I mean, surgeons make way more money than me. The estimates vary, but the internet says around $200,000 a year is reasonable, maybe more. The problem is, surgeons go to 4 years of medical school. In each of those 4 years, I'm earning 6 figures as a data analyst. And to make things even worse, even after you would get out of medical school at 26 years old, you still have to complete 5 years of residency, which the internet tells me only pays around $60,000 a year. During that time, I'd still be earning 6 figures every single year as a data analyst. In fact, somewhere along the way, I'd probably reach financial freedom. I should be able to retire before a surgeon could even start their career. So finally, at 31 years old, a surgeon could finally enter the workforce. And sure, they'll be making big money, but they might also have $250,000 in debt. That's going to take a few years to pay off, even if you're earning hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the best jobs for reaching financial freedom aren't the ones that pay the most. There's no way I would be on track to reach financial freedom by 30 years old if I had become a doctor or a lawyer. That said, as long as you enjoy school and aren't going into massive amounts of debt, financial freedom at the youngest possible age might not even be that important. You might instead care about having the shortest possible career, in which case one of those positions might make a lot more sense. And if you plan on working a long career, investing in your education might totally make sense. Those extra earnings could really add up over several decades, and there are certainly doctors and lawyers that will have much more money than me by the time we're all in old age. Also, money shouldn't be the only thing that's influencing your career choice. While I want to reach financial freedom as fast as possible, doing something that I love, or at least like, was still important to me. And this definitely factored into my own career decisions. I mean, I could be earning more. I have classmates working at some of the Silicon Valley companies, and they're making tens of thousands more dollars than I am. But their positions just didn't interest me. So there's a lot more to choosing the right career than money alone. I chose to work at a nonprofit where I get to do interesting work and have work-life balance while achieving my financial goals. But if maximizing your earnings is your goal, I have one more piece of advice for you. No matter which career you choose, I think you should go into the office. This isn't popular advice, but I recently made a video explaining the 5 reasons I think work from home could be a huge mistake, which I'll link right here. If you want to optimize your career, check that video out next.